You've asked for it, now I'm bringing it to you. Calling demonstrations in the woods, just like you would be hunting in flooded timber. That's what we're doing this time on Surviving Duck Season. Surviving Duck Season is presented by Mojo and High and Dry Waders. If you've never hunted in flooded timber, you've got to try it. You know, there's nothing like the sound of a call in the woods. Especially when you got one or two of your buddies that are really good callers as well. It's such a cool experience. And then having those ducks to commit and drop into the woods, man, it's something that you have to experience. I know a lot of guys have it on their bucket list to go hunt in flooded green timber. Well, I live in Arkansas. I grew up hunting in Arkansas, and it's something that I did from the very beginning of my duck hunting career when I was just a kid, and it's so cool. And so we thought we would take some time today and share some what it sounds like to call in the flooded timber. I know there's a lot of demonstrations out there with guys, you know, showing you how to blow a duck call, things to do with a duck call, but they do it like in their garage or in the house or, you know, wherever they may be, and it doesn't quite sound the same as it does when you're out in your duck blind, when you're in the flooded timber in an area that you would actually, you know, go hunting. And so that's why I thought, you know, it'd be great to kind of get out in the woods and blow my duck call and listen to the awesome sounds of it, you know, bouncing off the water and off the trees. You know, there's not a lot of wind. In fact, you know, usually you don't really notice a lot of wind in the woods unless it's really, really breezy. And so the sound is just so cool. So let me show you a couple little licks on my call. When I do, you know, when I'm calling ducks, you know, in the timber, it's not a whole lot different than what I do when I'm hunting in a field, but the difference, you know, with flooded timber is the ducks don't see you where you are from a long way away. I mean, they see some ducks maybe circling you, but as far as, you know, unless the duck knows where he's going to, and a lot of times they do, but otherwise, you're trafficking birds is what you're doing. You might be using, you know, calling birds that are using your block of woods, but what you're doing is you're trying to attract those birds in there. So it's really all about the call. It's all about making noise, because the ducks really don't see the decoys until they get over the hole, if it's a big enough hole, or actually when they start coming in, they might notice where the decoys are. So calling is so key in, you know, hunting in flooded timber. Ducks really respond well to the sound of splashing water, and when you're hunting in the flooded timber, it's really easy to do a lot of that. And one thing that I do when I hunt in the timber, as best as we can, depending upon the location that we're hunting, we try to get ourselves next to a great big tree. This is a gigantic, gargantuan tree. I try as best I can to keep the tree between me and the decoys and where I want the ducks to land. Oftentimes the sun, you know, you want to be on the shady side of the tree as well, so your face isn't glaring, you know, with the sun on you. And so that's kind of what we try to do, is we try to get behind the tree, get a tree as big or bigger than you are whenever possible. You know, sometimes that's not always, you know, we're able to do that because the trees might be a little bit smaller in the areas, but a tree like this is pretty much perfect. So what I do is when I see a group of ducks either kind of headed towards us or flying across, I'm trying to get their attention. I hit them with a hail call. Sometimes it only takes a few series of greeting calls or hail calls, but sometimes when they're really high, you just keep calling over and over and over again. And it seems like you're a broken record, but that's what tends to work for us a lot. Very, very loud and lots of repetition. As soon as I get their attention, they start heading towards me, then I kind of step it down just a little bit, but I sound really excited. Really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the ducks lined up. I've said this before on many of my other videos. You know, the whole point of calling is to get them lined up so they will come into land. We, make sure that we set up based on the wind. We have holes that we've manicured in our private woods that, some of them are north and south, some of them are east and west, so depending on the wind, we go to those particular holes. And so what I'm doing is I'm calling at specific times to turn the birds to get them lined up so they come in. And so it's really more of an experience thing. You can't say, oh, when they get so far out, you just kind of have to do it, by trial and error to kind of know about the amount of time it needs to take. If you let them go too far out, you might lose the birds. If you call at them too quickly and you get them turning too soon, then they wind up just getting in this never-ending circling pattern, which you definitely don't want. So again, it's just trial and error until you kind of learn the way to do it. I can't stress enough how important it is to be purposeful when you call. Don't just call a routine just for the sake of calling. I mean, early season, dumb birds will come in because they want to be there and because they hear duck sounds. But once you start getting into the mid-season and certainly later season, you really have got to be purposeful in your calling. And it's such a lot more reward to see the duck react to your call and do what you're telling them to do. So that's kind of what I do. I'm lining them up. I wait till they get to a certain point that I feel like, okay, this is when I need to turn them, and I hit them with a call. One thing I do a lot of times is my first note, I kind of draw it out. It's more of a pleading sounding note, especially if I have a group of ducks that are not totally committed to coming to my location. So it sounds like this. And then here they come. Hit them with some, a little bit of chuckle, a little bit of, some clucks, single clucks, and, run some clucks together, do some quacking. I try not to call very often when they're right overhead. It really kind of depends on the time of the year and how pressured the birds have been. Let them get out in front of me or out past me, making a circle before I hit them with another call. And then we take them. If you've never hunted in flooded timber, you've got to try it. Put it on your bucket list of things to do because it's the coolest thing. Where can you go flooded timber duck hunting? Well, we do it at Cypress Crossing. Stuttgart, Arkansas has been made famous for not only the rice field hunting, but also the flooded timber hunting. So there's lots of really good places to do that in Arkansas, but then Mississippi has some flooded timber, and so does Louisiana. There's a lot of places that say flooded timber. We're kind of flooded timber snobs, I guess you could say, in Arkansas. What we consider flooded timber is what you see right here behind me. I mean, this is flooded timber. Oak trees, shallow water, knee deep, ankle deep kind of thing. I mean, occasionally it gets a little bit deeper, but for the most part, it's relatively flat. And again, it's mostly oak trees, and that's what we consider flooded timber, and it's fairly large tracts. I mean, at least 150 acres. A lot of them are a lot bigger than that, and so you got to try it, guys. I mean, if you've never done it, please put it on your list of things to do someday, and it will be something that you never forget if you can get on a really good flooded timber duck hunt. So If you guys have never been flooded timber duck hunting but want to, let me know in the comment section below. Tell me about it. And I also want to know how many of you out there get to go hunting in flooded timber very often. You know, every year you get to go. It might be your regular place to go hunting. You might hunt a lot in Arkansas or Mississippi, Louisiana, that sort of thing. And so, you know, I know there probably is some flooded timber in a few other places, but, you know, let me know about that. I'm interested to know what you guys, you know, where you guys like to hunt and what you think about flooded timber. Anyways, thanks for watching the video this week. If you have any questions about calling or about, you know, just hunting tips in general, I'd love to do some more videos on some topics that you are interested in hearing about. And so if it's something that I know and I can talk about it, I'll be certainly happy to share what I know. But we've got a lot of really good tips videos right here. Check them out. And if you're also interested in some of our hunting videos, they're right here. Check those out too. Plus other great content right here on surviving duck season. Until the next video, I'm Joel Strickland. Good hunting and God bless.